Hello, we hear you.
Hey
Hi,
there.
Christy.
I have no electricity.
Hi,
There's
Helen.
a power outage out here. So I'm sitting outside.
Oh, where are you
Hi,
at?
So
Danielle.
it's live
Midlands
now.
down. The whole neighborhood has no power.
You live now, Dr.
Oh,
Fontaine.
No
wonderful.
power.
Power, Christy?
Yeah, we have a power outage in the entire neighborhood. So I have to sit outside.
Oh my gosh. Wow, I'm sorry to hear
I know.
that.
I know. It's just, you know what I mean? I have no earrings either. So what, you know what I mean? I don't know what to say.
Look, hey, well, we are remaining flexible.
Yes.
And you know what? We're just doing what we can do during these times. There's just so much uncertainty, you know? And so, but thank you for being here today.
Yeah, I have you on mute mostly because it's noisy out here. So I'll unmute when I talk. So I'm gonna mute you so you won't hear the neighborhood out here.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Hello.
And we
Hi,
will
Doc.
just get started. I mean, we have several
Can you
people
hear
that
me?
are on the call right now. And I wanted to
Okay.
get started by saying thank you for
Hi,
being
Doc.
part of this evening's celebration for NewView Institute. We are celebrating our 4th year of being in existence, and we could have not gotten to this point without, you know, the support of all of you that are here on this call today.
Yeah.
And so I just want to really speak to each and every one of you individuals that are here today, just to talk about what your experiences has been. We have Rakia, who is one of our first interns for NewView Institute. Hi, Rakia. She's from LaSalle University here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She's residing in New York City, but she was the very first intern for NewView Institute. So Rokia,
Yes.
it is so wonderful to see you today.
It is good to see you too. I am good.
Oh my gosh, this organization would not have gotten to where we are without your support, Rakia. So
Thank
please
you so much.
Share with us, please, what your experience was when you were with the NewView Institute.
I definitely learned a lot. I feel like I was able to understand what it was that people were having issues and difficulties with when it comes to domestic violence. I don't think I understood the magnitude until I was actually with you and hearing other people's stories and not even knowing that the people that were around me had even suffered some type of domestic violence, and that people were definitely in need of counseling. I think that was a big thing. And how people had kept it for years, especially when we went to the women's conference, had never told a soul. But it just took that that talk we had for them to really, you know, open up and express and understand that there was people that were there for them and were here for them to listen, to understand what was that they were going to support them no matter what.
Right. You know, Rokia, from the very first time that I met you, I saw that you were such a young woman that was filled with ability and compassion, and that you brought so much to the organization. I remember us doing tabling events where you decided, hey, Dr. Fontes, you know, I want to make water bottles with the NewView Institute logo on it. And I want to present those water bottles to the LaSalle students. And I want to share with them how we can support them in their experiences with domestic violence. And you really opened up the door for NewView Institute to be able to support the students at LaSalle University. And from that experience, Rokia, we supported many other interns from LaSalle University, and it was all
Yes.
because of you. And so I thank you. And I want to say that because of all of the people that we will be speaking with tonight, it's not about Dr. Fontes and what she was able to, bring for NewView Institute. I know that I'm kind of like the face of NewView Institute, but Dr. Fontes cannot do anything without the people that support the organization. And Rakia from LaSalle University, Rakia Atu, is one of those very special women who was not only there to support from an intern standpoint from LaSalle University, but she was also a part of our play, a part of our Women's Empowerment Conference, who really lent a voice and her level of experience to the organization, how it would be functioning for days, weeks, months, and years to come. So I thank you so much, Rokia, for all of your input.
Thank you for giving me the chance. I know I didn't have a lot of experience, but you gave me the opportunity to gain that experience and even carry that on to New York, where I'm actually doing a lot of things within domestic violence. So I really appreciate that, because you definitely opened the door for me to do a lot of things, even during this COVID here in New York City, because I realized that there was a lot of people in domestic violence situations, and we actually were able to go to the mayor and let them know that, people felt unsafe at home.
Mm-hmm.
And now we actually have hotels that we can take these people to, which is amazing.
Wow.
So this started about a month and a half ago, and we've been able to, take a lot of people out of their situation. So again, I thank you for that opportunity, because I was able to use that here in New York.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Rakia, for all of the wonderful work that you're doing
Thank
in the
you.
community, and all of what you've learned as a result of being a part of the NewView Institute, working in, community medical health, and taking that back to New York City. As we know, one of those communities that have been hit very hard from COVID-19 and domestic violence. And so we thank you for your dedication, your wherewithal, for your steadfastness, and for all of your know-how and ability. We are so proud of you, Rokia. And
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you, my sister.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really,
I really appreciate you.
You did a good thing for NewView Institute.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rakia.
Thank
So who do we have next that would like to share their experience with working with the NewView Institute?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. This is Rennie Mayo.
Hi, Rennie Mayo. How are you?
Outstanding. Good. I was wondering,
Wonderful.
I could see you and I could see Rakia, but I don't know who all else is on it, but you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you, Rennie.
I'm sorry. I am not the most technically gifted person here. I have tried with this thing. I don't know why it's not on there, but hi, everybody.
Hi, Rennie. So let me introduce Rennie to the group. Rennie was actually our very first peer group facilitator for the men's group. Rennie ran the men's group for several months, for the first year actually, that NewView Institute was able to partner with the North Central Victim Services Organization. He did a phenomenal job. And so much so that we can't wait for Rennie to come back and to join us. Rennie has been providing services for the community, for young men and women in the prison system, juveniles, I think specifically, But he did a phenomenal job with NewView's peer group facilitating the men's group. And so thank you, Rennie, for being a part of the call. So tell us, Rennie, what's been going on, and tell us more importantly what your experience was with NewView Institute.
Wow. Okay. Where to begin? Well, lately, I guess like everybody else, I've been in quarantine, sheltering in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to push through this. Before this, you know, I had the program. I was still doing the Community Power program at the Juvenile Justice Center, and between that and working my regular job at RHD, which is Resources for Human Development, it just took a lot of time out of me. But I enjoy doing it. I love doing it. I love the group. You know, the NewView group. I enjoyed it tremendously. It was a great opportunity for me. You know, you go in thinking, you know, well, I always go into every therapeutic group and prepared to be blessed. Not that like I'm a blessing to others, but what they give me, and that group really, because my men in my group, all of them were victims of violent crimes, and I find we have so much in common when it comes to a lot of the trauma suffered from it, you know, and the everyday struggle to just remain sane is a struggle, but you know, we overcome together, and I thank God for groups like that. You know, they often say to me, you know, what I bring to the table, but it's what they give me that helps me on the daily. And I really appreciate you, Doc, and everything you do.
Oh.
And I look forward to coming back someday.
Yes, look, Rennie, we look forward to having you. You know, one of the things about the group experience is that the support that is offered, the healing that is offered is reciprocal. So we give healing and support, understanding and compassion, but we also receive that also in return. You know, not never expecting that that is what we're in for, but yet that is the gift and the grace and mercy of our Creator that He gives us. For those of us who've experienced victimization, we also experience support and love and compassion from those that we serve. So look, Rennie, look, you have been a highlight of the program. And we thank you. Yeah, we so thank you for the service that you offered. We would not be who we are without, you know, you, without men like you. And so we're so thankful for the service that you provided to the organization. NewView Institute has been in existence for 4 years, and we could not have done it without men such as you, Rennie Mayo.
Well, NewView is a blessing, and I hope, you know, the tradition will continue on. Did I see Dorothy Spite name on here? Is she on?
Yeah, Dorothy Spite's name should be on here.
Her.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Wonderful person. Worked
She's
with her
one
when
of
they
our
first started out.
partners.
Oh, wow. God bless you, Dorothy. Good to see you.
Hi there. How are you?
There she go.
Oh, that is wonderful.
How are you?
Outstanding.
Good to hear you.
Good to hear you again.
Yeah. So that was a perfect intro, Rennie. So let's hear from Dr. Dorothy Spite from Mothers in Charge. You know, Dr. Spite is one of our partners. NewView Institute is able to serve her organization as we provide grief counseling support for Mothers in Charge. So Dr. Spite, if you could please lend your voice as to what your experience has been as we have been able to partner with you and serve your organization.
Well, good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to be on the call. Good evening. And just want to say congratulations to the Institute for doing amazing work over the last, is it 4 years?
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
You, Dr. Fontes, and your organization has been a true blessing to Mothers in Charge. As you know, we work mainly with moms and dads and families who've lost loved ones to homicide.
Yeah.
And they're on a journey of healing that sometimes is like no other journey ever. But because of your partnership with Mothers in Charge, you have helped them in so many ways. So many mothers have been on a real healing journey and have been truly helped by you and the grief support work that you do with our organization. So it's something that everyone, I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah.
The grief process is a difficult one. And it takes a special kind of person or a special organization to be able to lend the kind of support and compassion and all the things that are needed when someone has to bury a loved one because of violence. And you have been able, and the Institute has been able to do that for so many of the families that we service through Mothers in Charge. So I just want to say thank you for that. I mean, and it even goes deeper than that. I mean, actually, when we think about the healing process and the grief support that you provide, that's one thing. But also, in doing so, I believe that the work that the Institute does with Mothers in Charge is also an intervention in terms of a way to stop violence. Because in the healing process, you know, and helping people in the healing process, it sometimes helps them to work through that anger. And that anger sometimes leads to other kinds of violence and other types of violence and more violence. So helping people to heal on that journey is a blessing in so many ways. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for your support to Mothers in Charge, and I hope this will continue as long as it needs to.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I'm hoping, my hope always was one day that there wouldn't need to be a Mothers in Charge, that we could, you know, be out of business. But unfortunately, the way things are in the city of Philadelphia, it looks like we're going to be needed for a little while. So I thank you, and I hope we'll continue to work together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Spite. It means the world to me that you would have taken out your time to be with us tonight to celebrate our 4th anniversary. And it is an honor and a privilege to be able to serve an organization that has been in existence for several decades. I mean, to be able to partner with you as you work out your mission, as it really, our mission really complements your mission, because we're looking to reduce and eradicate, hopefully, fighting crimes throughout the city of Philadelphia and nationwide, as you do through Mothers in Charge. So I thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of this call tonight as we celebrate our 4th anniversary for NewView Institute. Thank you. God bless you, ma'am.
So I definitely wanted to call in and extend my gratitude. My gratitude will not be silenced. I would extend my gratitude to you for all that you do, not just for Mothers in Charge, but in the city of Philadelphia in general. So I just want to say thank you for all that you do. And I can't be on the call, you know, for the entire time. I'm going to have to hop off. And that's why I couldn't even be on the video, because I don't have internet where I am. But I just want to say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Please continue to do the amazing work that you do for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Spite. Thank you so much, Dr. Spite. I appreciate that. Now, I'd like to go to another one of our peer group facilitators. I saw one of our former peer group facilitators, which was Tommy Wilkes, was on the call. I saw Tommy early on. She was like one of the first ones that logged on. I want to celebrate Tommy because Tommy is so important to NewView Institute. And I want to tell you why. Years ago, hi, Tommy.
Hey.
Years ago, when we first came into existence, this organization, NewView Institute, was really birthed out of my own experience with domestic violence. I was married to a man who I absolutely loved and adored. And it was so unfortunate that my marriage was filled with domestic violence. I mean, I didn't know, how I was going to overcome this obstacle in our marriage. But I came to realize and recognize that it was domestic violence. And I learned about domestic violence through the Laurel House, which is located in Montgomery County. It is a battered women's shelter. And I went through training because I was in denial about my domestic violence. You know, I just thought it was the norm. I just thought, you know, my husband and I were not getting along. And I thought that, you know what, I need to learn more about this social ill that is taking place, you know, in the city. And my trainer and teacher was Tommy, and she was so phenomenal. And so I just love Tommy because she taught me well. I got my 40 hours of domestic violence training through the Laurel House, and Tommy worked there at the time. And I didn't know that God would, you know, catapult me into starting my own organization, which is now known as the NewView Institute. But from that, I asked Tommy to please be involved with my institute, and she said yes. And so Tommy came on board, and she was our peer group facilitator. But not only that, she was able to walk alongside of us when we did our Remember My Name prayer ritual, which recognizes men, women, boys and girls who lost their lives as a result of domestic violence. And so, Tommy, I would just, you know, like for you to share a few words, because we go way back. I guess we met probably in 2008, 9, you know, somewhere around there. And here we are, it's 2020, and we are still, you know, standing, you know, fighting, you know, this ill that plagues our citizens, you know, not only nationally, not only our community, but globally. This is a fight to promote awareness about domestic violence, and hopefully at one point to eradicate domestic violence. So thank you, Tommy, for being here.
Well, I thank you and congratulations. Good work, good work.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you to you. It has been a joy and an honor. Working with victims of domestic violence, be they male or female, is a passion of mine. Even when I'm not doing DV work, I'm doing DV work, because DV, it crosses, as you know, it crosses. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're going through. So you could be, there's homelessness. The homelessness might be connected to your domestic violence in your life. You know, a lot of the things that people go through can, if we look close to a lot of them, it's connected to their domestic violence. But I do have to say what I learned from you. That as it might have been one statement, but we use it in our support group. I use it constantly in all the trainings I do when I'm talking to people, is that your thing about giving people tissues when they're crying. But when you said that, it was like the light went, yes. And what she said was that when people start crying, we automatically want to give tissues. Because that's our way of showing empathy and that we care. But what that can come off as, stop crying because we don't want that.
We don't want that.
We don't want that. Now we can have the tissues there sitting next to them if they choose to reach for them. That's cool. But by offering them to them, it's almost saying, yeah, we can't deal with that. We don't want you to do that. Your pain is not, and I've added to it for you. Your pain's not important. We need to move on something else. And again, when you said that, my light bulb went off, and of course I've added to it. But that was an important thing. So like right now, I'm doing work with women against abuse on their hotline. And when we intake folks in, I have sat down with people who started crying, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, don't be sorry. You get to cry. You've been through some stuff. You get to cry. You want to cry. If you want to scream and holler, scream and holler. Just don't start throwing rocks at me. But if you gotta let it out. You gotta let it out. There are tissues if you want them. So that was a big lesson that I and it may sound small, but it was a big lesson, because you gotta allow people to deal with their pain, which I knew, but it's how you do it. And then doing the groups that I did for you, and we'll do them again if you need me.
I need to.
Was a pleasure, because I've met some really great women, and that group was a group that was able to become a cohort and support each other.
Right.
Even when they ebbed and flowed, came and didn't come, when they would show up, they were there for each other. They started baking and bringing in food, which was
Right.
like, okay, yes. So it was a joy. I was able to be a part of people. I appreciate being able to be a part of people's lives and part of their healing.
Yes, yes, yes. That is astronomical. That you would mention that, oftentimes, unfortunately, when we speaking to this whole idea of giving people tissues when they cry, because it lends us an area of uncomfortability. We say, here, take a tissue, dry your eyes. But what we don't give them permission to do is weep. What they experienced was heavy, was real. And if we don't offer the tissues for our own sake, of comfortability, we are saying to them, I'm willing to be uncomfortable with you. I am willing to sit here with you in the heaviness, in the pain, and in the sorrow. Giving tissues is very dismissive. It says, I don't want to feel the pain that you're feeling. And in fact, I don't want you to feel it either.
Yeah.
Get over it, which is what we've heard time and time again, which really dismisses our ability to heal from whatever the pain is that we've experienced.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, Tommy, because I think that lends what we call as being culturally competent for our people who have already been told that sharing your pain in a counseling session is not something that we do as Black people.
Well, you need as women, as women,
women,
they said we need to be strong. We need to be holding up, and that's one of the comments we had in group, that we need to be strong.
Yeah.
We need to be holding
Right.
it up. So suck up those tears.
Right.
Do what you got to do and carry
Right.
on, and that's
Right.
your badge of honor. Well, you're gonna carry on, but you can feel the pain and deal with the pain and express the pain too.
Right.
You don't have to be strong. We ain't gotta be strong 24/7, and that's one of
Right.
the problems we had. That's why we have mental health issues that we can't deal with, because we're trying to carry everybody's weight all the time.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And so that is what we're trying to get across. And that is what you've been able to do so often in the groups that you have led for NewView Institute. And for that, I say thank you, Tommy. Thank you for the partnership. Thank you for teaching me, and thank you that you've learned something from me. Thank you that we've learned from each other so that we can support this very vulnerable population that we serve. And so it has been an honor to work with you, and I hope that we will continue to work with each other again, because my whole objective here is to show the public is that this is not a Dr. Helena Fontes organization. This organization cannot, flourish without the level of expertise and passion that comes from other people. Other people like you, other people like Rokia, other people like those that we'll hear from on this call. And we thank you for the partners that we've had with Dr. Spite and others that will speak as well. So thank you, Tommy, so much for being here this evening. Mm-hmm. And now we have Marie. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Dr. Fontes.
Hi, Marie. So Marie is one of our current peer group facilitators for NewView Institute. She is one of the facilitators for our women's group, but Marie and I met many, many years ago at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, where I provided a whole nother level of service for domestic violence victims. What I recognized was that not only did we need to provide groups for women who have experienced domestic violence, we needed to provide one-on-one counseling services for women who didn't want to be a part of the groups. But then in addition to that, we needed to provide pastoral care training for those who were leaders, ministers, and lay leaders in the church for those experiencing domestic violence. And Marie, at that time, she was the servant leader for Dawning of a New Day at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. And so she really led that organization during her tenure, and she did a phenomenal job. And then I said, you know what, Marie, I'd like for you to come on over to NewView Institute and be a peer group facilitator. So Marie, you've experienced NewView Institute from many different levels. And I'm just wondering tonight what it is that you would say your experience has been.
First, Dr. Fontes, let me congratulate you on the 4 years. And thank you for having such a compassionate heart to do what you do. Thank you for that. My experience continues to be an honorable experience as the NewView Institute stands by their vision of offering peace and justice while decreasing domestic violence. With women who encounter victimization, such as domestic violence, the first thing that is lost is self-esteem.
Yes.
So NewView is a team that assures women are allotted the opportunity to not only regain their self-esteem, but also their self-worth from the one-on-one counseling and the women's discussion group, which we call the empowerment chat group. And where they are empowered to recognize and to be the best of who they were before the trauma and become proud of who they are today, which is beautiful, skilled, and talented. With the pandemic, we're unable to meet in office. So we do a conference call, and each woman freely speaks without judgment and offers something special and encouraging about how they are surviving their trauma. They share their gifts of knowledge and creativity, like cooking and recipes and how to do feet and nails. How motherhood is working that can help another mother that's at home with their child, and their life changes. We cry, we laugh, we close with a scripture from one of our participants who chooses to read scripture. And they're encouraged to never give up. And I'm encouraged and inspired by Maya Angelou's quote, to be a rainbow to someone else's cloud. So thank you for allowing me that opportunity, Dr. Fontes.
Oh, Marie, you're bringing tears to my eyes.
No crying.
Oh, wow. I don't want
no crying. No
I
crying.
don't want to cry tonight. Look, wait a minute. Marie, that is awesome. Marie, you have done such a remarkable job serving our women. I mean, women look to hear from you. They expect your call every week. They celebrate the receipt of that call every week. And you are a perfect example of what it takes to move a mission forward. You know, this organization is not about me, and that is really why I wanted us to all join tonight, so that our community could see that, you know, okay, you get to see Dr. Fontes post pictures, do videos, you know, but it's not all about me. I can't do this without the help and support, knowledge and wisdom from all of you. And so I thank you, Marie, for all that you give to this organization, for all of your understanding and your compassion and your empathy for the women. You genuinely have a love for the women, and it shows through in the work that you do. So thank you, Marie, and happy 4th anniversary from NewView Institute, because it's not my anniversary, it's our anniversary.
Yes.
So I thank you, my sister, for being a part of this organization and lending to it all that you've lent to it, and it's been remarkable.
For me too.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, look, this is just the beginning. We have so much more ahead of us.
Wonderful.
And, you know, and I look forward to all that is yet to come.
Me too. Thank
I
you.
do. Thank you, Marie.
Yes.
So who is next to talk about their experience with NewView Institute? Who's next? Let's see.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
All right,
This is Christy. Oh, go ahead. This is
Christy.
Yeah. I think I need to go. I have lights now. The power came on, but I have some work. I work today, so I gotta get off after work.
Okay, that's fine, Christy. Christy, I want to just introduce you to our group today. As we celebrate, Christy has been a remarkable person. She is a licensed social worker, and I met Christy years ago as she asked NewView to provide training for an organization that she was the board for. And so Chrissy and I have had a partnership for several years, and I look to Christy for her input and her valued experience and knowledge, which she has much of. And she knows coping skills, which I love. And she is out on the front line providing services for women who are experiencing domestic violence. But she was right at the front line when we had gone out and done some outsourcing for other organizations that needed to be trained on best practices for providing services for domestic violence. So tell us about what your experience was, Christy, with NewView Institute.
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations. So I remember when you first started the Institute, and I thought, oh, this is
bless you, Christy.
really good. But I, first of all, am a overcomer survivor of domestic oppression. I call it oppression rather than abuse. But that's a scriptural term. And I work with Mainline Health and Hospice and Palliative Care in Philly and Lankenau Hospital. So I go into the homes, and so I get to see people dying and the caregiver being the one who was the abused victim. So I see various scenarios of abuse. You know, name it, I see it. So one of the things that I really wanted to do was find out, was there any Christ-centered training out there? Because I had a lot of secular training, and it's good training. But I understand the dynamics of how it works in the church. Because in my church, I was seeing a lot of abuse, and it's perpetuated and made worse because church members did not understand what abuse was. Or, therefore, they made it worse and made the oppression worse. And there wasn't anybody out there really talking like that until I found Dr. Parker. And I found her because I started getting on the internet looking into many different churches out there. And I found Enon. Then I emailed them and I said, help, we need some training. And then that's how I tracked down. This is the story of how I found her. But the thing that I really appreciate with the training is that I was able to then see how I can speak to the scriptural issues.
I can't hear you, Christy. Can she speak more to the mic?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, much better.
So the thing that I was able to glean the most that I was excited about was being able to have that scriptural background where I can then present to the church and say, this is what the Bible says about abuse. And this is how you are perpetuating it. 1 Peter 3, wives, be submissive to your husbands. That does not mean when a man is beating the crap out of you, you stay submissive. But that's the kind of thing that
you know, that's the kind of, this is what happened when you use a phone. That's
There
the
you
kind
go.
of thing that I was able to learn from Dr. Fontes and her training that she gave. And so I was able to present all that to the church. Epiphany Fellowship is where I am a deaconess. And so fast forwarding up to now, we've had more training. We have domestic abuse awareness.
Yeah.
We put the emergency contacts in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so there's so the progress is there. We're able to have meetings with the leaders and talk to them about why this is abuse and why you need to hold them accountable. So that's the kind of thing that I'm excited about, aside from the fact that you know, it's just good stuff you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Christy. Thank you, Christy. You know what you said to me that really touched my heart is the fact that you're putting information in the bathrooms for the women. I mean, you know, for women, domestic violence and their experiences, you know, it causes shame. And so they need to be in an experience in privacy, where they can take this information, to glean from this information and to apply this information, utilize it so that they can find freedom from the oppression. And so I'm so grateful that the training that I was able to offer to your organization was found beneficial. So keep up the good work, Christy. I'm sure that we'll continue to you know, walk along this path of healing for our sisters and brothers, boys and girls in the future to come. Thank you, Christy. Thank you for being here this evening. So who is next to talk about NewView Institute
I'll go
for our 4th year anniversary? Hi, Dr. Jones. How are you?
I'm
one of our board members. Hi, Dr. Jones.
I'd like to introduce myself. I'm a psychiatrist. I've been a psychiatrist for more than 26 years. And I actually, when I was in training, I was working with Marie. I don't know if Marie
I remember you.
Yes. So when I heard you speak, I said, oh, isn't God good? You know, isn't God good?
And here we are.
Yes, here we are. You're serving the Lord. Amen.
Yes.
During the course of my practice, I have been a medical director for Temple's Crisis Response Center. I've been medical director at Friends Admission and Evaluation Center. I've been a medical director at Girard Medical Center, which services individuals who have mental health and substance abuse issues. I also have worked at the Girard Medical Center as well. Currently, I'm working at Gadenzi, who services individual participants who suffer from mental health and substance abuse issues. And when the courts open back up, I'll return to my job doing forensic psychiatry at the Criminal Justice Center, where I do court-ordered evaluations for individuals who are in the grips of legal issues and who may need mental health and substance abuse issues. I met Dr. Fontes at an event at E9 Baptist Church, which we both attend. It was a She's My Sister event, and they invited a panel to talk about mental health issues and support. And I was so impressed by Dr. Fontes' energy. And there was a certain synergy that both of us shared, because I am a child abuse survivor. And I have written a book called I'm All Right, which details my journey from my abuse as a child, my journey through treatment as I walk with the Lord, and my desire to kind of understand what my purpose in this world was, and that it was certainly the service of child abuse survivors. So me and Dr. Fontes, we had several conversations. She invited me to a meeting to understand a little bit more about the NewView Institute. And in the past I have, and I continue to be impressed by her level of energy. And she demonstrates what a humble serving the Lord is. I know that Dr. Fontes is a driving force for the NewView Institute. I know that she has passion for domestic violence overcomers, but she's not one to say, this is my thing, this is how I'm going to do it. You know, you got to get in where you fit in. She openly invited me to join, as well as the other board members. And I feel like we're a family. This is not, any one person's journey. It's a calling the Lord's given us all. And you're such a positive force, Dr. Fontes. And, I know it's a happy anniversary for all of us that are involved in the NewView Institute. But, sometimes they say you got to give people roses while they can smell them. Yes. So this is your opportunity to get those roses, Dr. Fontes.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones, I have been so impressed by your level of professionalism. And from the very first time that I met you on that panel, I've recognized that the organization really needed a man of your caliber. Let's just face it, domestic violence sometimes comes from the patriarchal in our community, and we have to always have a man that is healed and that is whole, that is a part of anything that we try to press forward if we're going to change the dynamic of our community. And so I knew that I needed a man who had strong values and who had been walking the road of healing for many years. And guess what? I knew his mom. His mom and I had gone through some ministerial training years, and I didn't even notice when I met Dr. Jones. But I mean, it just really just showed that we are closer in community than what we ever think. And to know that I knew his mom and I knew what a remarkable woman that she is, and someone of value and someone that I respected in the community. And then to have her son as part of the organization, I just know that we are moving in a direction of healing for the people that we've been called to serve. And I'm glad, Dr. Jones, that you pointed out the fact that it's not about me, because at any point I will resign or retire or step down, and there will always be someone that will step up to continue on the mission for the NewView Institute, because it's not about one person. It's about what we can provide for the community of Philadelphia and nationwide. This is why I love Dr. Dorothy so much, because she has taken her organization nationwide to provide services for other communities who have experienced the loss of their sons and daughters to violence. I look at NewView Institute as an organization that will provide counseling services for other nonprofit organizations that will outsource their counseling need to us. And this is why we are here. This is what we do. We provide counseling for organizations specifically in domestic violence, but other such violent crimes. We come to the table with a level of cultural competency, a level of understanding and acceptance, and more importantly, love for our people who have been suffering and who are marginalized in our community. And thank you, Dr. Jones, for being on our board and for giving leadership to the NewView Institute. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Okay, so who else do we have on the call for this evening?
Hi, Dr. Fontes.
Hi, Danielle. How are you, Danielle?
I'm very well tonight. How are you?
Great. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for being on the call.
Of course. And hello to everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. So Danielle, shall I introduce you?
Please.
Danielle Spencer. She is a remarkable woman. I want to first of all congratulate her for being a Temple graduate, year 2020.
Oh, congratulations.
Graduated
Thank
from
you.
Temple University.
Congratulations.
In the midst of all the trauma that she's experienced, unfortunately, Danielle lost her boyfriend to murder. And so we hold her, we hold him in our heart, as we have been privileged to be able to serve her in her time of need. Danielle came to us, and she didn't really know what to expect from the counseling process. And, but she received what it is, I believe, that she needed to receive, because here she is today. She's remarkable. She's standing strong for her community, for her son. And she is doing big, big things. She's a veteran, and we thank you for your service, Danielle, for our community and for our world, for the United States of America. You sacrificed your life for us, and for that we are forever grateful. And we are so sorry that you lost the one that you love on the streets of Philadelphia to gun violence. So Danielle, please talk to us today about your experience with NewView Institute.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fontes, for that introduction, and congratulations to you and to NewView and all of NewView supporters on your 4 years.
Yes.
So I met Dr. Fontes about 3 or 4 weeks after my partner was shot randomly on the streets of North Philly. And not only that, I was there with him. The bullets missed me and hit him. So when I got to Dr. Fontes, I was dealing with the uncomfortability of crying, because I was crying uncontrollably all over the place. And I'm glad that we talked about the tissues earlier, because one thing that he allowed me to do was lament. And it was something that I needed at the time, because I was always constantly wiping my tears. I didn't want to be crying in public, but I couldn't help it at the same time. Other things I was dealing with was the loss of appetite. I'd lost so much weight, flashbacks of the event, a lot of things that I was dealing with. And Dr. Fontes, she walked me through sitting with these emotions, because I didn't want to sit with them. I wanted to put them in a box and put them away somewhere and let them mold somewhere else. But she taught me that the only way that I was going to feel better was to sit with them. And I did. And there's a type of freedom. It makes me emotional today, because now when I think of him, I think of how grateful I am that I got to have him in my life. And I remember before, I remember feeling like I didn't know what I was going to do without him. So you can almost say that I now have a new view.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So I want to thank you, Dr. Fontes, because without your intervention in my life, I was headed down a dark, depressive path. And without your intervention to help me see a new way, learn how to sit with things, learn how to process my emotions.
Yes.
I can't say I would be where I am today without it. So thank you very much. And thank you for having me.
Wow. Thank you, Danielle. I celebrate you. I celebrate you, my sister. I celebrate you. I thank you for trusting the process. I know that you had other interventions and modalities in place, and we utilize all of those to be able to foster your healing. And you are a remarkable woman now. You were a remarkable woman then. And we are so grateful to all that you've accomplished. And I'm so very, very proud of you, Danielle. So thank you for being a part of the call today.
Oh, thank you. And thank you everybody else for being here also.
You are so awesome. So who do we have next? I think I saw Tori. Hi, Tori. Tori,
Hi,
are you
Helena,
there?
Dr. Helena. How are
Hi.
you? Hi, everybody. Hi,
Tori.
Danielle. Hi, Jamila. I don't know everybody's name, but hi, Dr. Jones. Hi, Michelle.
Yes.
Hi, Tommy. How's everybody doing? I am not Zoom groomed, so I'm not even going to
Okay.
scare you guys.
Okay. All right. Well, look, that's fine. That's
well,
fine.
one of the reasons is because I work downtown, so it was like kind of crazy getting home with the cops and everything. So I'm just not Zoom ready, so y'all forgive me for that, but charges to my heart. But thank you for having me on the call. NewView Institute, Dr. Fontes, well, let's go all the way back. Dr. Fontes was my one-on-one when I got out of my abusive relationship. So she, just like Danielle, she helped me overcome, she helped me grieve, she helped me kind of let go and handle business that I thought that I couldn't handle or take care of. So she motivated me to begin new beginnings. So I thank you, Dr. Fontes, for that. And my testimony is, even though I have overcome, she's watched me from the beginning, but she's also brought me along with NewView Institute, as well as the pastoral care. I was blessed to go to the women's retreat last May, which was a complete blessing, and was just around so many phenomenal women, because that was the name of the theme. It was phenomenal women, and we learned from each other. Somebody was delivered. It was an amazing experience. And then she walked me along, and I became one of the peer support for the women's group with Tommy. And just when the women were to come, they were so excited to have us there. We played games, we did all kinds of things. So the experience with that was definitely a blessing for me as well.
Yeah.
And what else? It was so many things, so many things that I gotta say something else. Also, the pastoral care, of course.
Training.
And who was the other one?
I think we named it all.
I think so. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Look, hey, you named it
it's
all.
A lot.
No, the only thing you did not name was the fact that you are now the servant leader of the Dawning of a New Day ministry.
That is correct.
And you are doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
So the Dawning of a New Day ministry was a ministry that was birthed out of, and I really say is the foundation of NewView Institute. I was married, and my experience with my husband had domestic violence as a component of it. And as a result of that, when I came out of that marriage, I asked Pastor Waller if we could start a ministry for the women, which was my undergraduate project for my bachelor's degree. I'm from Geneva College. And he said yes. And, we started that ministry. And so that started in 2008, and here we are 2020, and the ministry is still in existence. And Tori is now the servant leader of that ministry. So she has come full circle. She has experienced every aspect of the NewView Institute, because it started with that ministry, Dawning of a New Day ministry. It then went into individual counseling, with Tori explained to you she experienced. It then went into providing retreats for women annually, which is called the Phenomenal Women Spring Retreat. It then turned into the opportunity to have peer group facilitators for our community of women who experience domestic violence outside of the church in the community. So Tori has really experienced pretty much every level of the NewView Institute, and that is why she was invited to be on the call today, and that is why we're so grateful for all of her input, all of her experience, all of the ways in which she has overcome, and all of the ways that she is a prime example of what loving yourself can do, what learning about domestic violence and changing your mindset, being transformed by the renewing of your mind and the healing of your soul can do, not only for her as an individual woman, but her as a mother, her as a woman in community, and in her church, and in society. She has done it all. You, Tori, are another one of the phenomenal women that we celebrate today through NewView Institute. So thank you for being a part of the call tonight, Tori.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations to NewView Institute and everyone that's on board now. I wish everybody the best, and God bless.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Tori. So who do we have next on the call? Who do we have next?
This is Reverend Michelle.
Reverend Michelle, one of our partners. Oh my God, Reverend Michelle, I love you. How are you today, Reverend Michelle?
Praise the Lord. I am fine and good. And congratulations to you, Dr. Fontes, and NewView. You know, I heard you saying that, you know, you're the face of, you're not the face of NewView, but it does take a body. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Vision forward.
Yes.
Amen. And congratulations to all your team that's riding with you, and everybody that spoke before me, and all the partners. You know, God bless everybody. It was good to hear from Tommy. She trained me at Laurel House.
Yes.
Volunteer training at Laurel House. So I don't know if she's on the phone still, but it was great to see her face. Yes, hi, Tommy, hi, yay. So yeah, and also with Dr. Spike, I'm partnering with her. We just did love bags for the jail. So I just to jump on to and probably a couple more partners on the phone I didn't mention, but for the sake of time, because I'm a preacher, I could talk. And I already got points down, Pack. I got 3 points.
You got 3 points. You go, girl.
Yes.
Go on there. I got my 3 points. So for NewView is my 3 P's, you know, that's coming up for as I think of my engagement with you over the years. And, you know, the play sticks out for me. You know, the authenticity and the creation and the innovation of that play, you know, really speaks to who you are and NewView, and the work and the love you have. So I'm not speaking for myself right now. I'm speaking for me. One, I'm going to speak for the One Our Prosper ladies too, and the women in Riverside, and we all you right now.
Oh,
the NewView, because if they had a voice and they could speak right now, they would. And so I that. And so back to my 3 P's, to play. Very, very impactful. And that is some of my experience that I had with you. That was the question today, the theme, you know, what happened, your experience. And so that left a lasting mark on my heart. All right. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Praise the Lord.
And you know the next one's coming. It's on the way.
Come on. And yes. And the next one is partnerships. I heard it all day long, you know, and I too believe that as we're doing God's work, because this is what it is, you know.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and we're calling ourselves and people to a different level, and healing, it takes partnerships.
That's right.
And thank God you have embraced that and you are doing that. And I am honored to be in partnership with you as well. And then I'll close with my last P, which is passion. You know, passion drives us when there's no money. Praise the Lord. Hey,
know it.
come on. Hey,
Gets us up every morning.
Right. So I just want to say thank you for your passion, right? Thank you for your passion. Thank you for being in partnership with you. You know, and all that you do for the community at large, the domestic violence community. You know, I don't know one that do it like you. All right. And I say that sincerely from my heart. And again, I speak for myself, for the ladies that want to prosper, and ladies that's sitting behind the wall. We love you.
We love you too. Oh, thank you, Reverend Michelle. You know, Reverend Michelle was one of the first partners for the NewView Institute. And for her to entrust her women, her organization, with you know, my ability with the ability that comes from NewView Institute was astronomical. It really was. And you opened up the door for me to meet with the commissioner and to be able to come into the prison system, something I had never done before in my life, Reverend Michelle. And so I thank you so much for that opportunity. I'm learning even still today so much, you know, from the women, from you, and from all that community has to offer. And I know that it is still so much that needs to be done. And I am willing, and I thank God that I have the desire to walk alongside you, even sometimes, you know, behind you, just to glean from you and hear from you what your vision is and how we can make a difference for the women in the community, because that just was not my experience. You know, something I never thought that I would be a part of, but God is the one who sets the plan, you know, and we just walk it out. You know, I'm so grateful to be in partnership with you as well. I thank you for your tenacity and your strength and, you know, all that makes you Reverend Dr. Michelle Simmons. And I'm so excited. You know, whenever I talk about NewView, I talk about my partners. I talk about the people, because without partnering with you to provide the service for your organization, you know, where would we be? You know, but you have a need, and we've been able to supply that need and come alongside one another, because it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about the need of our community. And we stand together and we support these women in love. And for that, I am so very grateful. We would not been able to reach these 4 years without you, Reverend Dr. Michelle Simmons. So thank you. As I celebrate NewView, I celebrate you as well. So I can't wait to see all that happens in our future together as we serve.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So who else do we have on the call for this evening?
Let's do the other Michelle. Hi.
Hi, Michelle. How you doing? Lady Michelle. Hi, Lady Michelle.
Hi. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good. I'm so happy to be here. Congratulations on 4 years.
Thank you.
So happy for you guys. I want to start off with an affirmation. I love affirmations, especially what we do and who we service, and even for ourselves. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And I started off with that because when I think of you, I think of those things. When I first met you around 2015, I think, something like that, we were doing the community group for the Baptist Association.
Yes.
And the development group. And we were meeting there and coming up with some things for the community. And I remember sitting across the table from you, and I'm like, this woman she bad, y'all. I gotta I gotta meet her. I gotta work with her. And
wow.
Throughout the years, you have been such an inspiration for me, even as I started my own organization, Heal and Rebuild, Unbreakable Spirit. You know, I remember talking to you and just asking you for some guidance, some help, some things, you know, how should I be? What should I do? And you just simply said, just be authentically you. And that has helped me throughout this time. And so, you know, with us being a nonprofit organization, and we help women and their children, and now we also helping men. We help the LGBTQ community and anybody who's going through abuse. Assist them by giving them resources, by giving them information, by educating them on what domestic abuse is, what toxic relationships are. And so that they can get into healthy, non-abusive situations, non-abusive environments. And so teach them here at Heal and Rebuild. And so you talk a lot about partnerships. I love that throughout this time, I've been able to work with you in different things. Dawning of a New Day, because you created that, I was able to go to those sessions where I met Marie. I have a beautiful relationship with her, Tori, Jamila. I've met all these wonderful ladies there. And Tommy, I actually met her at Lutheran. So she was training me on the hotline. So this is what I love about this. I'm looking at scrolling through and seeing everybody's face, and we're all connected. To who? Dr. Fontes. Some kind of way we're all connected to you, and we are all a part of NewView.
Amen.
And so I am so proud to be connected to you. I have my Silent No More t-shirt on.
I see you, my sister. Yes.
Because of your play, that play changed my life. I'm telling you, anybody who has never seen that play, I just always tell them, you got to catch it the next time she does it. Because it really changed my life. I was in an abusive situation, but seeing it play out, you know, my abuse started as a child. So going through that, you kind of start to think that this is normal, and you find yourself going from toxic relationship to toxic relationship, whether it's intimate partner or friendships, or just you don't know how to set those healthy boundaries.
That's
and
true.
So that play really changed my life, and I had my t-shirts, and I started my radio show that was Silent No More. And so all of these things you inspired. And so while I did not per se work with NewView, being a part of you has me being a part of NewView in every aspect. And so I thank you for having it. As a fellow advocate, I thank you for all that you do for, you know, those who are out here who are suffering in silence. We get to show them that they don't have to do that anymore. We get to show them that there is life after abuse. And so I love working with you in any kind of way that I am. You know, every time you call on me, I'm right there to come and be a part of anything that you're doing, because I know that it's going to be done with a spirit of excellence. And so I appreciate that. And you know, I love you, Dr. Fontes.
I love you too, Michelle. I mean, wow.
Thank you. I even started my Courageous Conversations, which is a support group. You helped me to bring that thing out of my head, you know, into my hands, and to make it, you know, come to fruition. And I thank you for that. I remember calling you and telling you what I wanted to do, and I was like, I never facilitated a group like this before, and you know, you really walked me through some things. So I do again appreciate you in every way. And I just wish you guys so many more years. This is 4 years.
It's 4 years.
It's going to be, you know, 44 years. It's going to be more
44
years.
years.
So, you know, we just love what you're doing. I respect you. You're a phenomenal woman. Thank you so much for all that you've done. I'm quite sure I probably forgot some things, but you know, I just love you and I love what you're doing. So thank you for having me here.
Look, Michelle, I thank you and I love you so much. And you have taken this thing to another level. Michelle, I respect and admire you so much for your level of professionalism. I remember meeting you early on and I knew that, you know what, this is a movement. It takes so many more brilliant and bright women who are willing to step up and say, me too, who are willing to step up and put aside our pride and to say, you know what, this was my experience. And if my narrative can change your life, I'm willing to tell the truth about what it was that I experienced. And you did that, Michelle. And I looked at you with big, wide eyes. If they could have gotten any bigger, I don't know. But I did that because I was just like, wow, this woman has had this experience and she's willing to be honest and open about it. And your narrative has made room for you. You know, the Bible says that your gifts will make room for you. And you have gone to Dubai and you have gone and you have served and you have shared your experience and your knowledge and your wisdom with women around the world. And so it is my privilege and my pleasure to say, I know Lady Michelle. You know, because look, it's about the courage that we all possess. Any one of us that can step up and step out and not give anyone else to have power and control over us is someone to be celebrated, you know, because when we step out and because we know how hard it is, and when we say no more, silent, no more, I'm going to tell the truth about my abuser, I'm going to tell the truth about my experience. And so it gives the other woman, boy, girl, and man, even as we know, the strength to say, me too. And because of your courage, your strength, I believe you. I'm going to step out and say, no more. And I'm not going to give you permission to abuse me anymore. And I'm going to step out on faith and I'm going to step out on courage and belief and my own inner strength. And I'm going to be all that I can be. And you do that, my sister, every day through your radio program, through your books, you know, through your public speaking, everything that you do and everything that you've done. And I look forward to, you know, us continuing to partner in the future. I mean, hey, we're as big as the crew. What they say, the squad. Wait, the squad. Look, the squad. So, you know, if we can be a part of people, women, who are standing firm on their belief that they do not deserve the oppression and the abuse that they once subjected themselves to, then guess what? That makes the next person that much stronger. We have more wisdom. There is strength in numbers. And I thank God, my sister, that you are part of the number.
Thank you. And Dr. Fontes, I wanted to say, you know, I didn't have a village. I know they say it takes a village to raise a child. And I didn't have that. But I thank God for women like yourself, women like Marie, all the wonderful women, Tori, everybody who's on here who are part of my tribe. He gave me an amazing tribe as an adult. And so I thank God every day for that. And I don't take any of that for granted. And which is why at Heal and Rebuild, we say you are no longer a victim. You are more than a survivor. You are a thriver. And so I thank you.
Yes. Silent no more. Yes. Thank you so much, Lady Michelle, for being a part of the call. I know that we do have others who are on the call tonight to celebrate NewView. Who is the next person that would like to speak tonight? I know that there are others.
I guess I will, Helena.
Yes. Hi, Helen. Salahuddin.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
How's everybody tonight? It's
Great,
nice to meet
great.
all of you. Dr. Jones, I think, did I do the panel with you at
You
Enon?
did. Yes,
Yeah.
we did. Yes, we did.
How are
Great
you?
time, didn't we? I'm great.
We did. We
Yes,
had a great
yes,
time. Yeah.
yes.
So congratulations,
Thank you.
Reverend Dr. Helena Fontes.
Yes.
4 years. I cannot believe it's been 4 years.
No, it's been 4 years.
Yeah. So I'm not actually a facilitator or an advocate or any of those things like that. I just know Dr. Fontes.
Yeah.
Come on,
So I met Helena and her beautiful daughter Tempest, I guess 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a program called the Dessert Club that has a African Genesis Institute, which is an educational program taking children to Africa. And Helena brought her daughter into my program, and she and Tempest went through my program for 2 years.
Yes.
And then they went with me to Egypt. You went to Ghana or Egypt? You went to Egypt.
Egypt. We went to Egypt.
To Kemet.
Yeah.
She went to Kemet with me, and Tempest, her daughter, was a phenomenon. Even then, I think had her hanging around with us for a little while longer.
Yeah.
And then Helena, I hadn't seen her in like ages, and then she fell back in my lap when she was getting her master's degree. She had to do an internship at a church. She ends up at my church, and the pastor didn't even know it. He asked me if I would be her monitor to watch her through the 1 year internship at my church. It turned out to be Helena Fontes. And it just so happened that I was the leader of the women's ministry.
Yes.
And when Helena came in, her ministry was domestic violence. And the pastor asked her, she stayed with us after she got her degree, and he asked her to be the minister over the women.
Yes.
It was at Mount Zion Baptist Church of Germantown.
That's right.
And so we worked hand in hand with the women. And so it's interesting. I think I think it was Reverend Simmons, right? Michelle Simmons. No, it wasn't. It was someone was talking. I think it was Marie Mullins was talking about how she was able to bring the programming into the church and what she did with the women. And I remembered when she was talking about that, how we had to drag so many of the women at Mount Zion into the concept of the idea that domestic violence is real. And so many of them didn't want to really hear about domestic violence. They only wanted to hear about good things and being, you know, all the wonderful things. They don't want to hear about the bad things. And it wasn't easy, you know. And I know that there were women who went to her separately, but as a part of the women's ministry, they were not as open in the beginning to hearing about domestic violence and talking about it and what the issues were.
Right.
And, so we worked together. I happen to have been, I am a survivor of domestic violence. My husband never actually physically was physically violent with me, but he was a drug addict. And so it was, you can imagine the violence that comes along with that. Right. So we worked together with that. And during this period of time, all of these things were germinating in Dr. Fontes's mind, you know, in her spirit. And we would talk about it in the first play. What was the name of the first play, Helena?
The first play was It's a Celebration.
It's a Celebration, yes. The first play. I was the narrator, right? Yes. She would, what someone said, her spirit and her energy, she will drag you into it if you want to come or not, you know. Sometimes kicking and shoving. She's like, no, you're going to be my narrator. Okay, I'm going to be your narrator. So I was a narrator for that.
You was a great narrator too.
She said I was a great narrator. But I did keep my day job. So I mean, but anyway, So I watched her begin to really build her ministry, and we talked a lot. Actually am an attorney, so that's what I do. So it's interesting. One of the things when I first started years ago, I've been practicing 35, 40 years, but when I first started, I used to represent women who had children removed from their care because of violence in the home, because of their violence against the children, child abuse. And so I kind of have another view of that for women who get kind of sucked into this kind of trauma and taking it out on the children being taken away from them, and trying to reunite or to correct what's going on in the home. But it was too traumatic for me. I stopped doing that because it just really was, that was traumatic for and I just couldn't continue to do that kind of work, but I did get to see that part of it. But anyway, so as an attorney, I've advised Helena on many things. She'll call me and say, I need to do this, I need to do that. How should I handle this? And I'm always glad to give my advice to her because I love her like a little sister.
I appreciate that.
Much older than she is. So I love her as a little sister. I love her daughter, Tempest, as I guess she would be kind of like a god granddaughter,
Yeah.
And it just so happens that I represent the Joan Pendergrass, who is the widow of Teddy Pendergrass. And Joan is also was a victim no more. She is a survivor of domestic violence, and she is actually writing a book. She didn't experience it with Teddy, but in a previous marriage, and she's writing a book about it, which is in the process now. And I actually introduced her to Helena, and she was able to come in and speak at one of the events that Helena had. Reverend Fontes has. Reverend Fontes. So, that's my story. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I applaud all of you wonderful women and sisters and brothers who are working in this area. It certainly is needed. It's just amazing how much domestic violence, how much violence is actually inside of our communities. And certainly your work is going to be cut out for you now, because with this COVID, my understanding is that there's an increase in the homes and the violence. And so the trauma and the mental health issues that are going to come out after we're through this part. And now with what's going on in the streets, the violence and the anger and the rage that our people are feeling, you're going to have your work cut out for you. So I'm just here to support, to tell you how much I love you. And I'm so impressed that 4 years is, just chugging along. And I love
it. Just chugging along. Yeah. Thank you, Helen, for what you shared tonight. But what Helen did not share was she's also a financial contributor to the Institute. We were planning for a phenomenal Brooch of Elegance event that was going to take place on March 21st, 2020. But because of COVID-19, it had to be postponed. But she is going to be the moderator for that event once it is put back on the calendar. When that will be, we're not sure just yet, but we know that we will have that event. She has, along with her husband, Ali Salahuddin, they have donated funds to our NewView organization. So for that, we are grateful. In addition to that, what Helen did not mention is that in one of her lives, she was also a attorney for entertainment. She brought her daughter through and served her daughter in that way as an entertainment attorney. She has other high-ended, A-class performers, if you will, entertainers who she represents. And she was a part of the second play that I wrote, which was Institutions, Hiding Behind the Lipstick, Silence No More, which takes you on a journey with an individual, a female, who had gone through various institutions as a result of her own domestic violence. And after that play, Helen looked at me and said, "Girl, I think you're in the wrong business. You should wait a minute, what are you doing in the pulpit? You need to be on stage somewhere," because she was so impressed by that.
That's true. That's excellent writer. Right, and she does it all, right? She sings, she writes, she acts. I'm like, my goodness.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And it all makes for a good sermon.
Yeah.
So God knew what he was doing when he called me into ministry, and he's allowed me to walk in these other various ways in which to express really his love for humankind. So thank you, Helen, for being here, for being a part. I know we're getting a little late in the hour. So who else do we have on the call for this evening?
Hi, everybody. This is Jamila. Congratulations, Dr.
Jamila.
Fontes.
Hi,
Hi, everyone.
Jamila.
Hi,
you.
Tori. Hi, Marie. Hi, Michelle. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
I'm sorry if I left anyone
Jamila.
out. Hi. I just want to give God the glory and all the honor and the praise for Dr. Fontes. You know, with the NewView Institute celebrating 4 years, it is such a need. I met Helena at Enon, along with Noah and Tori and Marie, and also Noah Michelle. And I just give God the glory because, you know, dawning of a new day really helped me when I started at Enon compared to where I am now. It allowed me to be able to write about it when I went to graduate school because I was a victim as a child impacted by domestic violence and as a young adult. So I was very embarrassed and ashamed about it. But then, you know, I'm like, okay, Romans 8:28, and just to have that compassion and empathy. And I just thank God for Helena and, you know, you all as well. And, you know, Enon for being able to provide this as a resource because it's important to be a voice to the, you know, voiceless and those impacted that are incarcerated, sex trafficked, you know, again, children impacted by it. I'm a school nurse. So I just thank God it's like a holistic organization that's doing good work. May God continue to bless and keep you in all that you do. So thanks again.
Oh,
thank you, Jamila. Jamila is not only a great friend to NewView Institute, as she stated, she's known me and the service that I've provided even as early on as the church, this organization. And like I share with many community leaders, you know, everything that the Blacks needed originated from the church. Right. If they needed a undertaker, the undertaker was found at the church. The doctor was in the church. The lawyer was in the church. Everything that our Black community needed was always found within the church. And Jamila was able to find the service and support that she needed as a domestic violence survivor in the church. But then not only that, Jamila and we continued our relationship in seminary. Jamila is all that. She went to seminary. She got her degree. Her husband got his degree, and we celebrate him today. But in addition to that, finally, what I'd like to say about Jamila is that she is a contributor, a financial contributor to the organization. Every event that NewView Institute has had, Jamila and her husband have offered a financial donation to the organization. When we had women that wanted to go on the Phenomenal Women's Retreat and we needed additional funds to support their attending that event for their own healing, Jamila and her husband were that couple that provided that support. And so we are here just to say, I am here really just to say that NewView is what NewView is because of the help of not only their financial supporters, but their peer group facilitators, the people that are willing to allow us to serve them, our board members, and our partners, and everyone in between. And so on our 4th anniversary, not only Dr. Fontez's 4th anniversary, but the 4th anniversary of the community, I want to say on our behalf, thank you so very much for all that you do to support the community of Philadelphia. And may we have and experience 4 more years. So thank you everyone for being a part of this call tonight. Thank you for the time that you put into being here and all of the beautiful words and affirmation that you shared on this evening. And I look forward to walking with you for 4 more years at least. God bless you.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Good night.
We thank you so much. So we will talk
Thank
again.
you, Helena.
This concludes our evening. Thank you all.
Thank you
so much.
Love you all.
Good night, everybody. Stay
Good
safe.
night.
Thank
Yes,
God
good
for
night.
this,
All right.
for this little organization that means so much to the community. Good night.
Amen.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.